Have you ever asked yourself, why did it take me this long to feel seen? Why your life, no matter how much you've poured into others, still feels like it's circling around something sacred you haven't quite reached? Why the people you gave your heart to couldn't hold it? Why the prayers you whispered were met with silence? Why your journey has felt delayed, heavy, or out of sync with everyone else's? I want to tell you something that may settle your soul. You were not overlooked. You were hidden. Not hidden as in forgotten, hidden as in protected, separated, watched over. Because when you're chosen by God, your story will never look like the world's timeline. It moves in divine rhythm, and divine rhythm rarely rushes. There's a reason stories like Joseph's still speak to us today, not just because they're ancient, but because they mirror our modern ache. Joseph, Yusuf, peace be upon him, had a dream planted in him before the world ever believed in him. He was favored in spirit, but betrayed in flesh, sold by his brothers, wrongly accused, imprisoned in silence. For years he was forgotten in places where he was meant to grow. But here's what the world missed. God never lost sight of him. And when the time came, the doors that no man could open were suddenly flung wide. Joseph didn't miss his moment. His moment was simply waiting for his becoming. And the same is true for you. Maybe that's what your life has felt like a series of closed doors and invisible assignments. Maybe you've been carrying a quiet grief, not because you're weak, but because you know there's more, and you're tired of not touching it. You've lived enough to know what false love feels like. You've seen what happens when people love your light but reject your darkness. You've tried to settle for relationships that didn't stretch your soul, and still, deep down, there's something in you waiting, longing, not just for comfort, but for confirmation, for alignment, for divine timing. So for the next few moments, wherever you are, whether you're watching in the stillness of morning or the ache of another long night, I want you to pause. Let the noise fade. Let the shame, the striving, the survival instincts soften. Let's believe that what you're about to hear is meant just for you, not randomly, not algorithmically, but spiritually. This isn't just a video, it's a summoning, a sacred moment in divine order. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Quran 94:6. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 35. Let those verses be more than poetry. Let them be a promise. You've cried in secret. You've outgrown places and people, but didn't have the words to explain it. You've begged God for answers, but were met with more silence. And maybe you began to think the silence meant something was wrong with you. But let me offer a different truth. The silence wasn't punishment. It was preparation. It was God protecting your destiny from premature exposure. Because what you carry is sacred, and sacred things must be grown, not rushed. And maybe you've spent years trying to prove your worth to people who could never understand you. Maybe you've walked through midlife thinking it's too late to start again. That healing should have come earlier. That purpose belonged to someone younger. But what if that delay is not denial? What if the timing of your awakening is exactly as it was always meant to be? This video isn't here to hype you up. It's here to call you back, to remind you why the waiting hurt so much, why certain doors closed, why the ones you loved walked away, and why even now, with all the miles behind you, your soul is still open, still listening, still ready, because the journey isn't over. It's just getting deeper. By the end of this video, you'll remember who you are. Not who life made you, not who pain disguised you to be, but who you were before the wound, who you were when heaven first breathed your name. And in remembering that, you'll begin to understand why everything had to unfold the way it did. So stay. Stay even if it's uncomfortable. Stay even if a part of you wants to click away. Stay because your soul is telling you something your mind can't yet explain. And before your logic catches up, go ahead and press subscribe, not for the numbers, but for your spirit. Because if this video is meant for you, the next one might just meet you in the moment you need it most. Now come. The silence is holy, the timing is sacred, and the journey you've waited for begins here. You see, The world has made you believe that love is something you earn by being less needy, less emotional, less complex. It taught you to shrink your truth, to silence your longing, to settle for connection without communion. And after enough heartbreak, you started to wonder if real love was for everyone, except you. Not because you're unlovable, but because your soul is deep, your pain is loud, and your story doesn't fit into this world's version of romance. But let me remind you, you were never meant to fit. You were meant to be found by someone who sees the sacred in you. Those who are chosen by God walk a different path, not easier, but holier. And that includes how they love and how they are loved. It's why so many chosen ones feel like love keeps skipping them. It's not rejection, it's protection, because surface-level love can't hold the weight of your soul. You see, if you're watching this and you're in your 40s, 50s, or beyond, you may feel like it's too late to start over spiritually, like maybe you missed your moment. But what if your moment is just now beginning? What if the waiting wasn't wasted time, but divine preparation? Midlife spiritual awakening doesn't always come with flashes of light. Sometimes it comes when everything else falls apart. When the relationships you once begged to keep dissolve. When your prayers feel unanswered. When your own heart feels like a stranger. That's when the sacred awakening begins. Not because you finally got what you wanted, but because you finally became who you are. And in that becoming, you start to see love differently. You start to crave connection that feels safe, not just exciting. A love that slows down, listens, sees you. A love that doesn't try to fix you but chooses to know you. But let's be honest. When you've carried emotional pain for decades, it's hard to believe someone could love you completely, especially when that pain is wrapped in old shame, when you've made mistakes, when you've given yourself to people who weren't ready, when you stayed too long or trusted too fast. Some of you are still healing from things you've never told anyone, and still a part of you wonders, could someone love me even with this? Could someone really stay? Let me speak to that place in you, the hidden place, the part that still hopes, even after all the disappointment. Yes, someone can. Yes, someone will. But only someone who's been prepared for you. You don't need a perfect man, you need a ready one. And readiness isn't found in the body or the bank account. Readiness is a soul posture. It's when a man has seen enough of life to value depth over drama. It's when he's wrestled with his own demons and now wants a woman who's done the same. Not to be his project, but to be his partner. But many of us miss this kind of man. Why? Because we're still attracted to the familiar pain. We're still trying to earn love. We're still apologizing for how much we feel. We're still chasing the ones who ghost us. We're still tolerating crumbs and calling it divine timing. Tell me, why are you afraid of being loved well? Why do you think you need to tone yourself down in order to be chosen? Why are you trying to hide your emotional pain when that pain has made you wise? The truth is, real love won't flinch at your depth. It won't shame your softness. It won't punish your past. It will honor you. Because when you've been chosen by God, your love story is sacred. It's not rushed. It's not loud. It doesn't have to prove anything. It moves differently. Let me remind you of something beautiful from Scripture. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. So maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe you've watched others fall in love, get married, build families, while you're still here, still healing, still waiting. But you haven't been forgotten. You've been set apart. And let me tell you, beloved, it takes longer to prepare a union that's meant to last. It takes time to build a soul that can hold sacred love. Some of you thought you were cursed because your relationships didn't work, but maybe those relationships weren't worthy of the woman you're becoming. Maybe God didn't delay your love life. He was protecting it. Maybe the one you've been waiting for is also waiting for you to finish becoming. So breathe, cry if you need to, but don't give up on love. Not now, not when you're finally starting to see what's real. Because the ones who wait in silence, the ones who walk through the fire of shame, pain, and old regret, the ones who dare to believe again after everything they've lost. They are the ones who are met by something holy. They are the ones who are held by a love that doesn't come to complete them, but to walk with them. You're not forgotten. You're not too late. You're just in the quiet before the becoming. The sacred pause before the next chapter opens. So keep watching. Not just this video, but your life. Something is shifting, something is aligning, and when it arrives, it will not be loud. It will be true. Let the world move fast. You move in faith, because the forgotten ones are not forgotten by heaven. They are just being prepared for something unforgettable. You see, anyone can stand beside you when the music is playing, when your hair is done, when your laughter is loud, when the sun is shining and the world calls you beautiful. But tell me, who's there when the silence comes? Who sits beside you when your spirit grows still, when your joy goes quiet, when all that's left are questions and wounds and the whisper of old shame? You'll know he's ready to take your relationship to the next level when he doesn't disappear during your stillness, when he doesn't panic at your pain, when he stays even when there are no fireworks, no fancy words, no perfect answers, just the raw truth of who you are in that moment. Because love isn't proven in parties, it's revealed in presence. And in the life of a chosen one, someone who has been set apart, bruised by disappointment, refined by time, presence means more than passion. You've already had passion that faded. You've already had people who were there for your potential, but not your process. What you long for now is a partner who can stand in your stillness and not need you to perform. Midlife spiritual awakening will strip you down. You already know this. It peels back every layer that once made you feel worthy, the job title, the outer beauty, the energy to always be on. And in those quieter years, when you're being rebuilt by the divine, you'll feel it, like you're too much and not enough all at once. That's when you'll need someone who isn't afraid of the quiet, who doesn't run when you're not fun, who understands that silence is not absence, it's depth. A man who is truly ready won't always know what to say when you fall into sacred stillness, but he will know how to stay. He won't try to fix your soul like a project. He won't quote empty verses or offer shallow solutions. He will simply sit. Listen, hold space, honor the silence. That's not weakness, it's maturity. And it's rare. You've likely had relationships where your sadness became inconvenient, where your feelings were too much, where your need for depth was met with withdrawal. That's because they were not built to carry what you carry. When you're chosen by God, your pain isn't random, it's spiritual weight. And it takes a certain kind of man, one who's been through his own unraveling, to even recognize that. You'll know he's ready when he doesn't flinch at your tears, when he doesn't ghost you because you're having a low season, when he doesn't need you to be perfect to stay present. He stays because he values who you are, even when you're not at your best. That's not romance, that's revelation. Remember this. Real love grows in the unseen moments, the quiet breakfasts, the soft prayers, the evenings when you sit in silence, and yet something holy passes between you. No performance, no pressure, just presence. There is a kind of man who can sense when your soul is weary without you saying a word. He's not psychic, he's just paying attention. And in the world of loud distractions and surface conversations, a man who pays attention is sacred. He's not looking for someone to entertain him. He's looking for someone to become sacred with. Tell me, have you ever been loved without having to explain yourself? Have you ever had someone see your silence and still choose to draw near? Most people avoid the quiet because they're scared of what it reveals. But a man who is ready, he enters the quiet. He doesn't fill it. He doesn't fight it. He simply honors it, because he knows deep down that silence is where the soul speaks clearest. Let me remind you of something eternal. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. Stillness is sacred, and anyone who can't honor your silence will never be able to honor your soul. You see, when the world is clapping for you, when your prayers are answered, when things are going well, of course they'll stay. But when life gets slow, when God seems distant, when your emotions rise and your old pain resurfaces, who stays then? Who doesn't need a reason to stay other than the fact that you're you and your presence is enough? That's what you're looking for. Not just someone to celebrate your light, but someone to honor your shadows. Because your silence isn't emptiness. It's sacred ground, and the man who is truly ready will not try to drag you out of it. He'll simply sit beside you until your soul is ready to rise again. When you've lived long enough, when you've been broken and rebuilt more than once, you stop looking for people who make you feel excited. You start searching for the ones who make you feel safe, not because they're perfect, but because their presence is peaceful, steady, unshaken by your storms. Let me say it clearly. If he stands in your silence without losing himself, he's not a boy. He's a man who's been prepared by God. That kind of man doesn't just want you. He understands the cost of having you. He knows that love is not about fixing, it's about witnessing. And if you've never had someone witness you in your silent spaces, let this be your reminder. You deserve it. You don't have to earn that kind of love. You just have to recognize it and allow yourself to receive it. So next time you wonder if he's ready to take the relationship deeper, don't ask how loud his love is. Ask how quiet his presence can be. Can he stand in the pause? Can he see your stillness is holy, not broken? Can he wait with you, not for you? Because if he can, if he chooses to stay when there's no spotlight, no excitement, no applause, if he meets your sacred silence with reverence instead of resistance, then maybe, just maybe, you found a man who's not just interested in you, he's aligned with you. And that, beloved, is a sign worth trusting. Let's keep walking. There's one more sign waiting to be revealed. One more key to know if he's not just speaking of love, but preparing to live it with you. You see, anyone can talk about love, anyone can say they care, anyone can tell you they're ready for more, but words, without alignment, are just echoes in empty rooms. You'll know he's ready to take your relationship to the next level when his actions begin to rearrange his life, not just decorate his sentences, when he starts to build space for you, not just promise it someday. This kind of readiness doesn't shout, it shows. Many chosen ones, especially those feeling forgotten by destiny, have lived through relationships where words came easy, but follow-through was always missing. You've been told, you're the one, while being treated like an afterthought. You've been made to feel cherished in private, but hidden in public. You've been given emotional breadcrumbs and expected to feast. But here's the truth. A man who is truly ready won't keep you as a placeholder while living like a bachelor. He'll align his world to welcome you in. When someone is preparing for sacred love, it starts to show in the small, deliberate shifts. He doesn't just call you late at night. He carves out time in the daylight. He doesn't just talk about wanting a future. He makes decisions that include you in it. He isn't afraid of the word us. He begins to ask questions like, what do you need to feel safe with me? How can I support your purpose? What would life look like if we built something holy together? That's when you know his soul is waking up to something bigger than himself. And that's when you, the chosen one, must listen with your discernment, not just your heart. Because the man who is truly ready to take your love to the next level will not ask you to dim your light just so he can shine. He'll step into the light with you. And here's where it becomes spiritual. True alignment is an act of reverence. It means he honors the calling on your life. It means he sees your past, not as baggage, but as evidence of your becoming. It means he's not intimidated by your healing journey. He respects it, because he's been on his own. The key word here is alignment. And alignment is expensive. It costs comfort. It costs ego. It costs him his excuses. But when he begins to reorganize his life to make room for yours, not to control you, not to rescue you, but to walk beside you, that's when you know something divine is happening. That's when you feel the shift, not just in how he speaks, but in how he moves. Let me remind you of this truth from Scripture. Faith without works is dead. James 2:17. It's not enough for him to tell you he believes in love. He must live like it. He must love in a way that has weight, a love that doesn't just exist in words, but enters into action. Some of you watching this have been in relationships where you've done all the adjusting. You changed your schedule, you lowered your standards, you made room in your life for someone who never did the same for you, and you told yourself it was grace, when really it was fear of being alone. But not this time, not this season. When it's real, it won't require you to bend yourself into silence. It will require him to rise, because a man who's ready will make hard choices. He'll let go of distractions. He'll begin healing his own wounds. He'll close the doors that block your growth together. He won't ask you to wait in confusion while he drifts. He'll move forward with clarity, because a soul-awakened man understands. When a woman of purpose enters his life, he's been given a gift. Now I need to speak clearly. Readiness is not perfection. He may still have healing to do. He may not have it all figured out. But he'll be moving. That's the key. He won't just say, one day. He'll start with today. And here's the thing. Alignment often starts in the unseen. You might notice him setting boundaries with people who drained him. You might notice he's praying more, reflecting more, growing in stillness. You might feel a new depth in your conversations, a softness in his presence, a desire in him to honor your soul, not just enjoy your company. And if you feel that shift, pay attention. Because when a man starts to align himself with your life and your light, it's not just because he likes you, it's because something in him recognizes you. His soul knows yours. His steps start to match your rhythm. And that doesn't come from infatuation, that comes from intention. But let's be honest, alignment isn't always romantic. Sometimes it looks like hard conversations. Sometimes it means confronting fears. Sometimes it's the choice to be uncomfortable now to build something sacred later. But that's how you know it's real, because he's willing to disrupt his comfort to protect your connection. And if you've never seen that before, it's okay. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just now learning to recognize the real thing. I want you to ask yourself something quietly right now. Is he changing for me, or is he changing with me? Because the man who's truly aligned won't just upgrade his habits to impress you. He'll evolve his heart to walk with you. And if you've already started seeing signs like this, don't ignore them. Don't talk yourself out of what you're feeling. If he's showing up differently, it may be because he's finally waking up to the depth of what you carry. And if he's not, if you've waited and watched and nothing has changed, then that silence is your answer. Readiness always leaves a trail. So remember this. When a man's life begins to align with his love for you, you won't have to guess his intentions. You'll see them in his choices. And if he's aligning, if he's evolving, if he's moving from empty talk into steady action, then maybe, just maybe, you're not just someone he wants. You're someone he's willing to build with. That, dear soul, is sacred. That is the kind of readiness that only divine timing can create. And if you're seeing it unfold, don't rush it. Honor it. Water it with patience. Let it grow at its own pace. Because when it's truly aligned, it won't just change your relationship, it will transform your life. Let's walk now into what happens if you don't see these signs. What if he's not ready, and you're still hoping? What then? Stay with me. The answer is holy. You see, we don't like to admit it, but sometimes the person our heart wants is not the one our soul can build with. Sometimes you meet someone who awakens hope inside you, a smile that softens your scars, a voice that quiets your old fears, a presence that feels safe, even sacred. And yet, somewhere inside there's still a silence, a hesitation, a gap between who they are and who they would need to become to love you fully. What do you do when your spirit senses he's not ready, but your heart still wants to believe? Let's talk about it. Let's not rush to conclusions or force clarity where there is confusion. Let's sit in this sacred ache, the one where potential and reality don't quite align. Because if you're here, watching this part of the video, chances are, you already know. You've already felt it. That quiet voice inside whispering, he's not bad, but he's not prepared. You didn't come to this video to be entertained. You came for confirmation. And this is it. You see, when you are chosen by God, your love journey is not ordinary. It doesn't move on the timeline of the world. You are not called to convenience. You are called to covenant. And that kind of love, divinely aligned, emotionally grounded, spiritually sacred, requires two souls walking in rhythm. Not one running while the other rests, not one reaching while the other resists, but two people who are ready. And that's where it gets painful. Because you can see the potential in him. You can see what it could be. You've seen glimpses of a future that feels beautiful, holy even. You've prayed, you've waited, you've adjusted yourself to fit what you hoped he would become. But here's the truth. You can't align someone else's soul for them. They have to choose alignment for themselves. Maybe you've been carrying this connection, nurturing it like a fragile flame, afraid that if you stop trying, it will go out. But the right man, a ready man, won't need you to keep the flame alive on your own. He will bring his own oil, he will bring his own fire. And if he doesn't, then the silence isn't cruelty, it's clarity. There's something holy about that realization, not because it feels good, but because it finally sets you free. Free from waiting in emotional limbo, free from overanalyzing every mixed signal, free from carrying the weight of the relationship alone while calling it faith. Because faith is not pretending. Faith is discerning. Just because you love him doesn't mean he's your assignment, and just because he feels like home doesn't mean he's your destiny. Sometimes God allows you to meet someone to awaken the parts of yourself that needed to heal, not because they're your forever, but because they're your mirror. This is where many chosen ones get stuck, believing that if they just pray harder, love deeper, stay longer, he'll wake up, he'll see, he'll change. And sometimes he does. But more often he doesn't, not because he's cruel, but because he's not ready. And readiness is not about intention, it's about action. If he's not moving toward you, if he's not healing himself, if he's not aligning his life with the love he claims to want, then the truth is, he's not ready. And you must decide, do you want a relationship built on potential or one built on preparation? Because one keeps you hoping, the other moves you forward. How long will you wait in confusion before you choose peace? How long will you carry the weight of a connection that leaves you more anxious than anchored? How long will you confuse emotional attachment with divine assignment? You are allowed to love someone and still let them go. You are allowed to honor the connection and still choose your own healing. You are allowed to be sad, to grieve what might have been, to feel the ache of releasing someone you prayed for. But you are not required to sacrifice your spiritual becoming for someone else's delay. If he's not ready, that doesn't mean you're unworthy. That doesn't mean you've failed. That doesn't mean you'll be alone forever. It simply means his story is still unfolding, and yours must keep going. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, but is patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. 2 Peter 3:9. You see, God is not in a hurry, but he is always on time. And if someone is meant to walk beside you, they won't need to be chased. They'll catch up, they'll rise, they'll seek God, and in doing so they will find you again, differently. But what if they don't? What if this was it? What if this connection you've held so close was never meant to go beyond this moment? Then, beloved, trust this. Your heartbreak is not the end. It's the beginning. Because every sacred no is protecting a deeper yes. Because God is not just writing you a love story. He's forming you into someone who can carry it. Because when you let go of what's not aligned, you make room for what is. This is the moment of deep spiritual choice, not just about him, but about you, about the woman you're becoming, the peace you crave, the purpose you're stepping into. Don't delay your destiny because someone else delayed their growth. I know it hurts, I know it's lonely, but silence from a man can sometimes be the voice of God saying, not here, not now. And if that's the message, receive it, not with bitterness, but with reverence, because you are still on the path. If he's not ready, God still is. If he's not consistent, heaven still is. If he walks away, grace will not. You are not being punished. You are being preserved. So if the man you thought was the one isn't showing up in readiness, don't chase, don't beg, don't twist your identity into smaller pieces, hoping he'll love the version of you that fits into his fear. Instead, stand up, gather your heart, turn your face toward the light and say, I still believe in love, but I will wait for the kind that's ready. And in the waiting, heal. In the quiet, grow. In the in-between, build. Because the woman you are becoming deserves a love that meets her in her fullness, not her fragments. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are becoming. So if he's not ready, bless him. And keep walking, because your destiny will not abandon you. And the one who is meant for you will not ask you to question your worth to feel wanted. Let go, with peace, with softness, with strength. You don't have to close your heart. Just close the door to what keeps you small. Because if he's not ready to walk with you, that doesn't mean the walk ends. It means God has more for you ahead than you ever could have imagined. Let's continue. Let's return to what's waiting for you, not just in love, but in destiny. Because the next part is not just about relationships, it's about the divine love story you were always meant to walk into. You see, when your soul has been set apart by the hand of the divine, your love story will not follow the path the world understands. It won't be rushed, it won't be random, it won't be filled with noise and confusion and chaos. It will be quiet, ordered, timed, and sacred. Because the love that's meant for a chosen one doesn't just find you. It waits until you are fully become. It waits until the healing is deep, until the lessons have rooted, until the shame has turned to wisdom, and your soul can receive what God has always prepared. Many of you have wondered, am I too late? Have I missed it? Was I supposed to be loved in my 20s or 30s, and now it's over? But I need you to hear me. God's timing cannot be rushed or ruined. When He ordains something for your life, it will find you, not when you're desperate, not when you're performing, but when you are ready. And readiness doesn't mean perfection. It means surrender. Midlife spiritual awakening often feels like everything is falling apart. But what's really happening is that your soul is coming into alignment. The false loves fall away. The illusions dissolve. The roles you used to play no longer fit. And in the space that's left, you begin to feel different. Empty at first, but slowly, deeply, sacredly, full of clarity, full of truth, full of God. And when that begins, your whole life reorders itself, including your relationships. You've seen it. You've felt it. The people who used to excite you now feel shallow. The ones who made you laugh don't make you feel safe. The connections you clung to start crumbling under the weight of your growth. And it hurts. It hurts to outgrow what you once prayed for. But it's also holy. Because growth doesn't reject love. It prepares you for real love, for divine love, for the kind of love that won't make you question your worth. When you're truly chosen by God, your path is protected. Even your delays are divine. Even your losses are preparation. Even the years where no one pursued you were not punishment, they were preservation. They were heaven saying, not yet, not until she remembers who she is. Because a woman who knows who she is cannot be deceived by a man who doesn't. A woman who walks in her spiritual authority will not beg for affection, she will discern covenant. So if it's been years, if you've cried yourself to sleep wondering if your love story passed you by, if you've seen others get chosen while you remain in the shadows, don't lose heart. Your silence is not absence, it's alignment. Your waiting is not emptiness, it's refinement. Your longing is not weakness, it's evidence of divine design still unfolding. You see, God is not trying to deny you love. He's trying to complete it. Because love that arrives before you're healed will only repeat your wounds. But love that enters after you've awakened, it becomes restoration. That kind of love doesn't just feel good, it feels safe. It doesn't demand you explain your trauma. It honors it. It doesn't require you to hide your depth. It meets you there. That's what's coming. That's what divine order creates. Let me remind you of a holy promise. He makes all things beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. Not in your time, not in the world's time, but in its time. Which means when love finally finds you, it will be right. It will be whole. And it will fit, not just your hand, but your calling. Now hear this. Divine love is not perfect. It will still challenge you, still stretch you, but it won't confuse you. It won't pull you out of alignment. It will call you deeper into who you are. And the man God sends won't be intimidated by your light. He'll recognize it. He'll have seen his own darkness, and that's why he'll value your presence, not as his salvation, but as his partner. Many of you have waited years, not just for companionship, but for clarity. You've been praying not for any man, but for the right man. And that kind of prayer takes longer. Because God doesn't rush sacred things. He builds them. And while he's been building you, he's also been preparing someone who won't shrink back from your depth. Someone who has been refined, just like you. Someone who's tired of games, tired of ego, tired of empty words, and ready to love well. But even more than preparing him, God has been preparing you to trust again, to open again, to receive without fear. Because sometimes when we've been alone too long, we start to mistake our isolation for safety. We convince ourselves that needing no one is strength. But the truth is, we were made for union. And you, dear soul, were made for holy love. Don't believe the lie that your best days are behind you. Don't believe the lie that it's too late. There is no such thing as too late when you are walking in divine time. The world has timelines. Heaven has seasons, and you are entering a new one. You're not broken. You're being reborn. You're not behind. You're becoming. And when the love aligned with your becoming shows up, it will not make you perform. It will not make you guess. It will say, I see you. I know you. I'm ready. There's a reason your heart still hopes. That hope is holy. That longing is not weakness. It's prophecy. It's the echo of what's been promised. So don't harden your heart. Don't close the door. Don't let old disappointments tell you that love is not worth it. Because when it's time and when it's true, it will be worth every tear, every year, every silent prayer whispered into your pillow. Let me tell you this. You will not have to chase what's sent by God. It will know where to find you. It will come gently, humbly, clearly, and it won't demand you trade your healing for attachment. It will respect what you've walked through, and it will walk with you forward, not backward. You didn't miss your moment. You're arriving at it. Everything you thought was a detour was actually direction. Everything you thought was a loss was really a lesson. Everything you thought was too late was just on time. So hold on. Not with desperation, but with expectation. Because love for the chosen doesn't come fast, but it comes whole. And when it does, it won't feel like you're falling. It will feel like you're coming home. When that man shows up, he won't say, "What do you bring to the table?" He'll say, "I've prepared a place for your soul here." And you'll know, not just in your emotions, but in your spirit, because everything in you will be at peace. Until then, stay faithful, stay soft, stay in alignment. Because when you are walking with God, love is not something you chase, it's something that is drawn to you. And it will arrive in divine order, right on time. Let's keep walking. You're almost there. And what's ahead is worth every step. You see, you didn't just watch a video today. You entered a sacred space, a moment carved out in divine timing, a pause between the chaos of the world and the clarity of your soul. This wasn't just information. It was invitation, an opening, a remembering. And now that we've reached the closing, I want you to know You are not walking out the same way you came in, because something has stirred in you, something ancient, something holy. Maybe it was just a whisper. Maybe it was a deep knowing. Maybe it was a tear you didn't expect to cry, or a breath you didn't know you were holding. That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. That's your soul recognizing truth. So let me say this to you, not as a stranger, but as a fellow traveler, a guide, a witness. You are not forgotten by destiny. You are not too late to start over spiritually. You have not missed your moment. If you feel like you're still hidden, still waiting, still becoming, good. That means you're exactly where you need to be. You are a chosen one. And that doesn't mean your life will always be easy, but it does mean your life will always be ordered. Every delay, every silence, every closed door, every lonely night, all of it has meaning. All of it has been preparing you for something deeper, something more sacred, something that can only be received when your spirit is ready to carry it. I want you to take a moment and breathe. Just breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let your thoughts settle. Let your heart open. Because even now, as these words find you, the holy is present. You're not alone. You're not invisible. You're not lost. You are deeply seen, eternally held, and spiritually guided. Maybe right now you're still aching from something unspoken. Maybe you're still wondering if the man in your life is ready, or maybe you're grieving someone who wasn't. Maybe you're healing shame from your past, or carrying the weight of dreams that still haven't come true. Whatever it is, lay it down here. This is sacred ground. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be strong in every moment. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is rest. And that's what I want to give you permission for now. To rest. Not just your body, but your soul. Whenever the world gets too heavy, this space is here. Come back to rest your soul. Come back to the truth. Come back to this knowing you were chosen, you are becoming, and nothing can stop what heaven has ordered. If this message spoke to you, if it found something hidden and brought it to light, I want you to type the words "still chosen" in the comments. Not for the algorithm, not even for me, but as a declaration, a reminder to your future self, a message to heaven that you are still open, still becoming, still believing. I know it hasn't been easy. I know there were days you didn't think you'd make it, nights when no one checked in, mornings when your heart felt heavy before you even opened your eyes. But you're still here. That means something. That means you're stronger than what tried to break you. That means your story isn't finished. It's just getting real. You're not behind. You're not being punished. You're being refined, just like gold in the fire, just like seeds in the dark, just like prophets in the wilderness. And when your time comes, when your soul-aligning love finally arrives, it will not be late. It will not be loud. It will not need proof. It will feel like peace. I want to leave you with this sacred reminder. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. Joel 2:25. That means nothing has been wasted. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one lonely holiday, not one unanswered text. God doesn't overlook what you've endured. He counts it, stores it, and repays it in love, in timing, in fullness. So stay soft, stay holy, stay surrendered, because the man who is being prepared for you will not come to fill your void. He will come to walk beside your purpose. He will come not just with words, but with readiness. And you will not have to beg for it. You will recognize it. Until then, don't shrink, don't hide, don't disconnect from your heart. Let it ache, let it long, let it open. Because that longing is not loneliness, it's direction. It's how your soul points you toward what's next. Even now, angels walk with you. Grace surrounds you. The timing is aligning. The shift is near. And when it comes, it will not ask for performance. It will call forth your presence. And you will rise, not as someone trying to be chosen, but as someone who remembers she already was. So go gently tonight. Light a candle. Whisper a prayer. Rest without fear. The love you seek is seeking you. The peace you crave is inside you. And the future you thought you lost is waiting quietly, just beyond this sacred moment. You didn't just find this video. It found you, and it won't let you go until your soul remembers. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are chosen. Until next time, stay close to the light, stay soft in your spirit, and above all, stay faithful, because what's coming for you isn't ordinary. It's ordered, and it's already on its way.